Welcome back to another episode of Jason's Life in 5. Today is March 22nd, 2026, as I record this. And we are still in Colorado. We're actually outside of a little town called Parachute. It's right off of I-70, probably about 40 minutes from Grand Junction, I guess would be the biggest place nearby. And we are starting out our morning with a blast, literally. So we are at a site. It's about 8 miles off of the interstate, and this location is the site of Project Rulasan. Now, you've probably never heard of this. I hadn't either till I did a little research in the area, and there was actually nuclear testing that they did on this site. You can see that there is, back here, a little cement pad where they have covered it up. There used to be a plaque. It looks like it might be missing. We'll have to take a look at that, but there's now this sign here. So what happened is back in 1969, I think it was September 10th, 1969 to be exact, they had scientists drilled a hole like 8,400 feet underground, so like a mile and a half. They drilled a hole and they detonated a 47 kiloton nuclear device in an effort to release natural gas. Now, was it a success? Well, yes, because what it does is it vaporizes the rock and releases the gases. However, what they found is that the gas was contaminated and radioactive, so it was no longer usable. So you can see this pad they put covering over it. Looks like the plaque used to be up on the end there. Looks like it's just different from the rest of the cement, and I'm not sure what this wood box is. It's actually on private property, so you can see there's a fence. We can't cross that. Kind of funny. Someone lives just right above, literally, where a nuclear blast happened. 60 years ago? So the government paid people like $7 or $8 that lived within 5 or 10 miles of this site to leave their homes for the afternoon. And then they set off a bomb, hoping to see what would happen. So kind of one of those funny periods of American history. I guess scientists were trying to find useful ways to use nuclear energy. I don't think this was probably a win. Here you can see the plaque that it looks like it's recently installed. You can see them getting ready to drill and place that. Here's an image of the original plaque that was there. It says that that monument was placed in '76, so 50 years ago. The plaque was as old as I am. It says they manage it to make sure everything remains safe. Kind of an interesting part of history. I had not heard of Project Rulasan, but now I have. Let's go see what else we can find. You can see the drive back down towards Interstate 70. Back on paved roads and the old interstate. So we are getting close to Grand Junction, and out on this little road, it's in a little town, I think it's called Palisade. Anyways, if you look, there is a trout made out of Colorado license plates. And there's feet coming out of it. This is pretty cool. So this is in somebody's front yard. And you can see it's made out of mostly the old green Colorado license plate, but there's a few others mixed in there. And that's gotta be, it's on that pole, but it's gotta be probably 8 feet in the air. Probably 10 feet long at least. That is massive. How cool would that be to have in your front yard? Now just here down the way, it looks like there's another sculpture. I don't know, let's get a little closer. It looks like it might be a football player or something. Definitely something different. So you have a figure. I don't know if it's a football player, just maybe the bike helmet or whatever that is made me think that. Got the chime with the little dog. Looks like you can get custom-made benches, if you want to call them. Got them here. Looks like it might be an orchard back there behind. And then that shovel turned into a little bird. That's pretty cool. How fun would this be to have this lot where you can make your own weird creations and just build them. Put them out where you want. Looks like we might have had a tree pass here. So this is one of the great things about going on a road trip. If I was flying somewhere, I would never get to see a license plate trout. So, kind of fun. Let's go on to our next adventure spot. I think there's some places in Grand Junction we might check out. Getting close to Grand Junction. Got this awesome lion drinking fountain. She's so risky, putting her head in the lion's mouth. You lived. Good job. So we are in Grand Junction, I think kind of more on the outskirts, but the Colorado River is just down here, and they've got some pathways that run along here, and we are at the Las Colonias Park. You can see they've got a little display talking about how the Lions Club has been helping to restore and reclaim a lot of it. We've got this sculpture on the rock, Elvis. So, kind of fun. There's supposedly something here. We're going to see if we can find this cactus glass sculpture park, evidently. But, not exactly sure where it's at. We found it! The Las Colinas Amphitheater, I don't know, glass cactus? Is that what these are? Look at these. It's kind of like a iridescent glass and metal sculpture. It makes really cool shadows. I don't know how well they're coming through. And evidently at night they light up and they're interactive is what it says. Now we will not be waiting to see if that's true. Maybe one time in the future we'll be through here at night. But that will not be today. So here you can get kind of a size reference on these. I wonder, that's not very hot even though it is in the sun. I mean it's nice today. It's not too hot, but you can see it looks like there's maybe a solar panel up here. Maybe that's how they're powered, I'm gonna guess. So not only is the metal structure green, but the lighting system is green as well. So definitely kind of a neat thing. You have to we were at the riverfront walking along and didn't know where we were coming. They're actually on the backside of the amphitheater. Actually off the main road. So had we not parked at the park down the street and drove by, we would have seen them. But we made it. So my wife just pointed something out, quite interesting. See how well it comes out on the camera. You can see the shadows. You've got pinks and blues and reds. But on the back side, this is actually the reflection and not the shadow. And you've got yellows and greens. So that's pretty neat. Really kind of a neat installation, I think. We're now heading into more of the heart of Grand Junction. It's a lot bigger town than you might think if you've never been here. So we have made it to downtown Grand Junction. Kind of a cool little main street. We'll walk down here a little bit and see. Got a lot of sculptures and different things. Got a sign right here which is kind of fun. It's a Main Street Arboretum. So it tells you about all of the different trees that line Main Street, I guess. It's kind of interesting. I can see at least 6 or 7 different sculptures just around this roundabout. one here is called the Model T. And evidently, you can buy it if you want for $10,000. I'm probably good. Now I gotta ask, what is going on here? We got a dude in the bathtub. Fortunately, the water and whatever's put in a good spot, we'll just say. This is James Dalton Trumbo. So James Trumbo was an Academy Award winning screenwriter from the area. He wrote films such as Roman Holiday, Spartacus, and 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. My wife pointed out he's got a rubber ducky in his bath, but also in his little coffee cup there's a small little rubber ducky. It says he's very eccentric, and evidently this is based off of a photo of him from 1967 in his California home. Who knew? Classic car alert. Coming down a classic street. That's kind of cool. Looks like these boots were made for walking. They're for sale as well. $7,000. Some classic looking artwork outside this building. It's kind of cool. Old downtown Grand Junction. Main Street Bagels. Hope they're not all that big. Here's the Fat Toad King, I guess. I don't know what the name of it is. Puffed Up Prince is the name of this one. The Gelato Junction. Maybe we'll have to check that out. What'd you get there?
Yeah, strawberry
guava, and coconut. All right. They were out of the peach, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So how is it?
As tasty as gelato should be.
Yeah. Well, it's good because I lied earlier. It's actually quite hot now. That's why we're walking on the side of the road in the shade, because it is toasty. This looks like it's an old store. Brown's Shoe Fit Co. This does not look like a modern build, for sure. Now this store, Western Anglers, they're not open, it's Sunday, but they have a Colorado license plate fish too. Not quite as big as and impressive as the other, but yeah, we all have aspirations. So continuing down the main street, I don't know if it's actually Main Street, is it? It is Main Street, okay. So continuing down Main Street, we've got another art sculpture. This one is, looks like it's bumpers. Car bumpers made into a buffalo. So it's the, I don't know, bumper buffalo. I don't see a name, but that's what we'll call it. So definitely a cool and imposing figure. There's actually someone that was measuring around the head. And I said, you guys aren't like looking to buy that and see if it'll fit in your car, are you? And the gal said, no, we actually are gonna make some, she crochets or knits, and she's gonna make some accessories like hats or something for some of the sculptures. So kind of fun. But yeah, let's head back. We'll probably go back down on the other side of Main Street. We got a long drive ahead, but we'll see if we find some other stuff on the other side of the street. Here is a bike of sorts. I don't know what kind of wheels those are. I wouldn't want to ride a bike like that. It's the Big Drop 5, according to the little sign. It's definitely larger than life size, because we'll see Tanya next to it. You can see. How many people do you think climb on that and sit up there?
Probably a lot.
There's probably a lot. Welcome to Grand Junction. I like a nice wall mural. Pigeons playing ping pong. That's something I'd like to see. We just went in the Robin's Nest antique shop. Had some cool old stuff, but I said to my wife, when did antique shops start carrying stuff from my generation? I thought it was supposed to be old crap. Oh well. Maybe I should have taken video in there, but What do you do? Now I find this vacant lot on the corner quite interesting. You can see that they're advertising it for, I don't know, real estate space or whatever. On the same site, you can see they've got these signs with images of other places around the world. So here you've got like Kuala Lumpur and Malaysia, and you've got Indonesia on this one. Over here you've got Mexico. So I don't know if they're telling people, hey, you can build whatever you want, even a big stone pyramid on this spot. Just develop this land. Kind of strange to me. Just a couple of sculptures we'll check out before we get in the car. There's this one called Stretch. Seems to be someone holding up the building, maybe. And then there's this one outside of a business called E-Bricks. Looks like it's a secondhand Lego store. And they have an 8-foot minifigure. So definitely not mini. Unfortunately, they are not open, so we will not be going in today, but kind of a neat place. They've got some cool artwork down the alleyway here. We buy Lego. We sort Lego, thousands of parts every day. We organize Lego. We recycle Lego. We sell Lego and we ship Lego. That's kind of a fun way to utilize the alleyway space. Well, since we are heading through, we figured we'd make a quick detour through probably one of the more lesser known national park sites, the Colorado National Monument. Come down and check out Artist Point. Park has lots of pull-offs where you can see incredible views down into the valley, down to the areas below. Over there is where we were before, just following along the rim of the plateau. I've actually been to the Colorado National Monument a handful of times. I think this might be my 6th time. The first time I came with the kids, we were driving through and the family. But I've actually been here 3 times to run a marathon. So they actually have a marathon that starts on the Grand Junction side, and you run along the rim of the mesa or the monument down to Fruta, where the finish line is. So, and the road is about 22 miles, I think, through the park. Kind of that little loop. I guess I shouldn't say loop because it doesn't circle back, but so yeah, it's kind of interesting because you go up the hill and then you run down, you know, a lot of the trails. So first part's the harder part. Then as we come, you'll see as we head back out, because we're actually following the path of the course, you actually go down a lot of steep areas as well. So yeah, it's a really pretty course, really pretty place. I think it's just somewhere people don't really know about, and certainly something worth checking out. Didn't realize this was a little trail down to a lower area as well. I thought it was just a lookout. So we'll come down here, see what we can find. I saw the fence down below and asked Tanya, I said, is there a trail down there? And sure enough, there is.
Hi.
Someone found a little cave to hang out in. Hello.
It's cooler in here.
Is it cool?
Yeah.
Take a look off the edge here. You can see those sheer rock walls. Definitely not anything you want to take a little tumble off the edge of. That is for sure. She said I have to go in the cave and see if I can tell a temperature difference, which I think you would just from the shade, but ow. I think she just wanted me to hit my head. Sure enough, it is cooler in here, but I don't think I fit quite as well. I'm a little bigger. Ugh. Oh. Warmer, but more comfortable now. This is one of my favorite stretches. You can see the sheer cliff wall with the road right on top of there. I think the road was part of the Civil Corps during the Great Depression that they were doing. So they did a lot of work out here, if I remember correctly. So kind of cool. But definitely not something you want to get too close to that edge, for sure. And you get a little bit of a peek of the valley and Fruta down there. It's really, really quite gorgeous. So that sheer cliff wall is behind me, and you can see the divider that's going to protect you from falling off the edge. It's so small, it's crazy. I mean, they're huge rocks that they put in place, but you definitely don't want to drive too fast into those because it is not going to go well for you. I'm going to stop off at the old visitor center. Last time I came through here when I ran the marathon in November, the visitor center was closed. Actually, the government was shut down, so all of the services were shut down. But over here they have something cool. They have these at, I think, all of the national park sites. I know at all the national parks, but I don't know about monuments and those kinds of things. But they have one here. It's a plaque. It's the Stephen Mather plaque. So Stephen Mather, he is actually a pretty cool guy. He is someone that really kind of jump-started and made the national parks what they are. If you watch the Ken Burns documentary on the national parks, he talks a lot about him. He was a very successful businessman, and had some mental issues, nervous breakdowns and things like that through his life. And he went to the national parks, and that kind of rejuvenated him, and that kind of started his love of the parks. And he spent a lot of his own money and time and resources. He became the first national park superintendent or whatever the title was. And because of him, really kind of what the national parks are what they are. I mean, there was other people, but he was a huge person. So you can find those plaques at pretty much all of the sites. Go check out the exhibits.
Whatever they are.
They have an area talking about the different types of stone in the monument, how it was formed, and then information about wildlife and different things. Oh, this is kind of fun. So this is about the civilian corps that I was talking about earlier. So you can see they were carving out the road during the Great Depression. I love it when I say something and I find it's right. Sometimes it happens. And John Otto, he was one of the pioneers that pushed the monument. It says many joined his efforts and deluged Washington officials with letters of support. Finally, on May 24th, 1911, President William H. Taft signed the proclamation that established Colorado National Monument. Kind of cool. Alright, so leaving the visitor center, it's kind of weird. This one we hit at the end because we came in the east side and went west. But I did manage to pick up some peach jalapeno jam. Got some of this before. It's really good. But we're gonna head. This is kind of the when I ran, this was the best part. It's the downhill. But we're gonna head downhill towards the end of the monument. You can see the valley down there in the town of Fruta. If you look below, you can see this is the road we'll be going down. Not too far down the path. You can see it horseshoes back out. When I ran, this was, like I said, definitely the funnest part. It's too bad I was late in the race when my legs were tired. coming up on the exit of the park. Doesn't mean our adventure's over. There's a couple things in the town of Fruta I think we definitely want to stop and check out. So we'll go take a little peek there and see what we can find. Coming into Fruta, we just passed over the Colorado River. Kind of fun how they've got these roundabouts with different pieces of artwork rather than just a boring cement circle. So the last one had the cowboy, and here we've got a biker and a hiker.
Yeah.
And we've got a roundabout with a pretty freaking awesome dinosaur. You don't see that every day. I guess if you live here, maybe you do, but I don't. Go into a parking spot and get a welcome to Fruta sign. How nice. So we get out of the car and there's another dinosaur. Uh-oh. It has a victim. Are you gonna live? Oh, good. Evidently they like their sculptures in Fruta just like they do up the road in Grand Junction. There's a couple things I want to see if we can find on here. Alright, so we are in the roundabout. We're gonna go check out this dino. It's not nearly as big as the Cabazon dinosaurs, the one in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but is neat nonetheless. So this large dinosaur is named Greta, or Greta, as it says. It was named by the school children, according to the sign in 2000. And I guess my shadow's ruining that. You can see the dinosaur is shackled, so it can't escape. And over here is something interesting. If you look at the left leg, is that power outlets? Maybe they used it to plug in Christmas lights or something. Who knew? Electric dinos. Pretty cool. Just on the opposite side of Greta, they have a bench here. It's Kim Donahoe's bench, at least it's in memory of Kim Donahoe. I don't know that this would be comfortable to sit in. Can't imagine those billiard balls will feel good in the middle of your back, but maybe it's a massage, who knows? So I'm sitting in the bench. No, it's not comfortable. It actually kind of hurts. So here's a view of, I don't know if this is Main Street, at least looks like Main Street in Fruta. And I think right over here is one of the main sites that I came to see. We're gonna see a chicken. Alright, so here it is, we've made it. Now this is not just any chicken. This is a sculpture, a monument to Mike, Fruta's maybe most famous resident. Mike is the headless chicken of Fruta, and you can see there certainly is no head. So back in the early part of the 1900s, there was a farmer here who had a chicken, and he was getting ready to prepare dinner and cut off its head, and the chicken ran around like they do when the head is cut off. And then he found that a while later that chicken was still running around without his head. And he wasn't sure what was going on. Well, evidently there was enough of the brainstem left that that chicken survived. Not only did he survive, the farmer ended up taking care of him. He fed the chicken with like a dropper and would feed him grain, like one piece at a time, and water. And this chicken lived for like a year and a half, and he went on like a circus tour, and they actually made a lot of money off of him. And unfortunately, I believe it was in Arizona, Mike finally met his demise. He choked one night on a piece of grain, and that was the end. And from my understanding, no one knows where Mike is buried, but there will always be a monument to Mike here in Fruta. So who knew? So they have this place here. There's a sign saying come get a Mary's Mountain cookie. I don't know what a mountain cookie is. Tony said we don't need one, but I said we got to go check it out. And then it's in a bank, so it's got to be good. These are some pretty tasty looking cookies. And look at these cinnamon rolls. Get it with huckleberry glaze. I just don't think it's gonna make it on the car ride home. So what do we end up getting here?
Some sugar cookies.
Got some sugar cookies. Those are pretty big cookies.
Some almond something.
Glaze. And then there's a brookie down there. We went with the day old. They're already bagged up, easy to go. They have this plaque with the Columbus Day Parade from 1917. And you can see these buildings here. And if you look up, you can see these are the same buildings. So kind of neat that this is a photo of this spot 109 years ago. And it's neat that they've preserved that. People probably were really excited to see motorized cars. You can see there's horse-drawn carriage in the middle of the procession of Model Ts and whatnot. So, kind of cool. So they've got this Welcome to Fruita banner and then some signs. Looks like they're celebrating the 150th anniversary of Colorado. I see a 250, so I think that would be for America. But it says the Sesquicentennial. Try to say that 10 times fast. Hey, Mr. Bike Riding Dino, are you going to be celebrating the sesquicentennial, whatever? So just a little bit down the street, they have the Veterans Memorial Park right outside. I don't know if this is City Hall or what it is, but this is something, you definitely find quite a bit in small towns, across especially the Midwest in America. You're going to see, veterans and memorials, people who served, locally from the area. Really kind of a cool tribute to those that, put their life on the line for people's freedom. Fruita Veterans Memorial, in tribute to those who perished, in honor of those who served, in gratitude of those now serving. You can see lots of World War II, Civil War, World War I, wow, Vietnam, peacetime, Cold War. So this street, I think I called it, Main Street. It does appear to be kind of like one of the main drags through town. Fruita's not a huge city, much smaller than even Grand Junction, but this is Aspen Street. So, and I think that is going to be the end of our journey for today. We still got a lot of driving to get home, so got to get down to business. But thanks for joining me on this adventure, and we will see you next time on another episode of Jason's Life in 5. Happy travels!